Hey everybody, welcome to today's podcast. I think today I figured out how Michaela has been going to the meat market. I don't mean the good one. Stay tuned. So the big question is this. How are leaders like you that recognize people and technology are the backbone of the company they're building continue to make progress when they have no clear idea on how to develop individuals and utilize technology in a way that helps them remain profitable? That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answers. This is Tom and Michaela, and welcome to the Heart and Hustle Podcast. Hey everybody, thanks for joining again to the Heart and Hustle Podcast. Of course, I am Tom, and this is Michaela. So today, we want to focus on a couple things today. We've been really struggling lately, at least I have. I do a tremendous amount of sales, I think, and networking with inside of my own world. And with COVID, it's been pretty hard. It's been rough lately, just with, that connection, that real feeling that you get when you network with individuals and so on and so forth. And, for a very long time, our offices were kind of in a downtown, highly metropolitan area of our city. And you would walk outside and we would just see people. Mm-hmm. See people everywhere. Like you walk down the street, you see Randy, or you see Ted, or you see Marie, or you kind of just see people you see every day. And now it's shifted, which is okay. But this whole LinkedIn, Facebook marketing, networking,
it really pisses me off.
Uh-oh.
Can I tell you why?
Tell me why.
I am so tired of social media and LinkedIn and Instagram. And it's just advertising after advertising after advertising.
It is.
I was talking to one of our social media managers the other day, Victoria. She rocks. And I have this love-hate relationship with social media. Mostly hate right now. Like I feel like it's isolating us so much. All it is business online, and there's no connection, there's no communication, here we are, hour after hour, scrolling, and LinkedIn, it's a meat market.
It's a meat market. It's bad.
All I get is people trying to pitch me their crap, and it ticks me off.
Idaho may too.
Yeah. Every time I'm the same way. I wake up every morning and there's, 3 or 4, maybe 7 different companies, individual sales reps trying to sell me on their product. Probably 50% are overseas, or some that are local, but trying to sell over their developers or their people or their their employment, their search services, their lead services. It's horrid.
It is. And I get it. We're in 2021. Everybody's using it. LinkedIn is the place to go for business. Instagram is the place to go for whatever. I don't know, whatever else is out there. But how do we get back to that face-to-face connection, that face-to-face communication? Is it ever going to happen?
I think so. I see a lot of people out there in groups still, whether it's coffee houses or networking clubs or whatever, they definitely still exist. But people kind of push off that too, because in the past, years ago, I belonged to BNI groups or whatever they were. And,
right.
There's the traditional insurance person in there, there's a traditional, sales guy for vacuum cleaners, whatever it is. And they're still trying to sell you their stuff. They're around this table and they're thinking that you think that they're interested in what you have to say, but they're not. They're still trying to push their product.
Do it. Mm-hmm. Do it.
All right. Yeah. I don't know.
But the problem is just the communication aspect in general. I know when you communicate, and I've seen you do it obviously a million times in front of others, there's a certain way in which you can speak, you can look, you can act, you can interact with those individuals, and they pick up on those social cues. Mm-hmm. And nowadays, you don't get to be in those environments. You don't get to be inside those areas anymore.
No, even amongst friends and colleagues, like texting and email and all of those things, it just starts to get really old. And of course, it's quick, it's convenient. Not going to stop using it because it's there. It's not going away, but it's like you said, you lose so much of that humanness when you're texting back and forth. And let me tell you, people are getting brave about what they text and what they don't text. And some of the things that I'm seeing out there as far as communication, whether it's boss to employee, employee to boss, or friend to friend, or, spouse to spouse. Some of those, it's scary.
Yes, it is. And, it's kind of like, it's much easier to communicate, it seems like, with that text to text, because it kind of takes the hardness, is that the word? I mean, it takes the difficulty of actually having that phone conversation, that in-person meeting with that person, because, at the end of the day, I think, and I feel that everybody says they're too busy, there's not enough time, or they don't have, the resources or the manpower or the energy or whatever it is to actually have that conversation, when in reality, I think they do. Because I think a lot of people kind of make up busy, or they think they're so busy, but they're not. But at the end of the day, they feel that they're really busy, but the reality is they're not. But I think they kind of have the easy way out of trying to send that text message, send that Facebook messenger, or send the Instagram message, whatever it is, across all these different channels to communicate with the individuals of which they need to communicate to, in order to get their message across, if that makes any sense. But
It does.
It's just, and I know we brought on a new client recently as a pharmacist out in small rural area of this state. They have 2 locations, one rural, one very rural. And it was difficult because over the phone, I mean, the entire process was done via text messaging for the most part, and a little bit of phone conversation. But it's like, that all happened, that's good. But then when you actually get to meet these people, they're wonderful, wonderful people. But at the end of the day, the whole mechanism on how you interact with them is now different, because
Right.
now you have to relearn this process. So it goes from a very casual text message going back and forth, and quotes that are being sent and all that kind of stuff, to, okay, now we got to meet these real life people. How are they in real life?
Yeah.
And then you got to readjust. And I think that's okay if you're doing business across borders, maybe hundreds and hundreds of miles away. But if you're a local small business trying to meet individuals and you're dealing with a lot of local regional people, I think it's really hard to conduct that stuff over text. And
It is. Well, even, we've been working with a client the last couple of weeks who are asking for our services, but I'm like, I need to be there.
Yeah.
I need to talk to you. I need to dive in. I need to see what's going on. We need to have that face-to-face conversation, because they're like 6 hours away. And I'm getting bits and pieces from Zoom conferences and phone conversations, but I want to see the big picture. I want to see the whole thing, because I can't give them what they need, what they
Right.
truly need, if I am unable to understand the whole picture. It goes back to that face-to-face communication, that connection, that
right.
not over email, text, Zoom, Instagram, all of that.
Yeah, and it's hard to read their body language too. I mean, when you're sitting at a table with somebody and you're looking at them in their eyes, or you're, watching them fidget or move in the chair or whatever, that's kind of the expert process at which I feel that you do to kind of read that room, to read that person. And oftentimes over Zoom, or
Very difficult.
go to meeting or whatever it is, you're sitting there trying to speak with them, and they're distracted. There's the noise in the background, there's their phone that may go off, there's the child, the kid, the dog, the cat that just puked on the floor. That actually
That happened. That just happened to me very recently.
Yeah, it was a dog. She was talking to me on the phone, and all of a sudden, we were wrapping up the conversation anyways, and all of a sudden you could hear her scream like but her child just fell down or something, or fell down the stairs, and she screamed and said, "Oh my God, my dog just crapped on my floor. I got to go." And she was screaming. So, but yeah,
Conversation over.
yeah, it just kind of gets ended quickly. And so, I don't know what this world's coming to. I know, my friend Randy, been following him a little bit on Medium. He writes a lot out in that platform. Randy Bretz is his name, and
We're so proud of you, Randy.
he's very involved with Lincoln Rotary. I was too at one point for just a quick minute, and I always kind of called it, excuse me, the generation of people before Facebook that wanted to get together. And at the time, most of those folks seemed a little bit older, but that was their group meeting they had once a week or once a month or whenever it was, and they got together to really talk and network and be together. And then the whole Facebook thing obviously happened, and I think that was hard for them, but they still like that community and how to speak and how to, have real in-person conversations. And then when COVID hit, they all split. Now they have a Zoom meeting that's, like 10 Brady Bunch walls that are going across there with all these people on there talking. And I think they stay connected because they really enjoyed each other. But I kind of wonder how many people may have dove off or kind of lost the content of what they were talking about. Maybe they were present. I know you're on a board, of a company here in our community, and I know it's difficult for you to.
It's been on Zoom.
It's
And I've never physically met these people. And I wonder how many businesses, how many organizations are going to go back to those in-person board meetings, or if they're, hey, Zoom is convenient, we can get everybody together easier, you can do
Right.
it from anywhere. I wonder how many people are going to go back to actual physical board meetings.
I think a lot of people eventually will go back to physical board meetings only because those that knew how they were conducted and those that understood the way in which people communicated, in which they could speak in the presence of each other, they're going to miss that and long for that and understand that the productivity level is not quite as high. On the flip side, I think they're here to stay. I think that they're definitely going to be there for here into the future, obviously, but I think they're going to start having maybe every third, fourth meeting kind of an in-person thing to kind of really get that networking back involved. I think it's super important, even with our teams. I mean, I long to have those individuals here sometimes just to be here because we all know that they're not 100% paying attention in those meetings with us. I mean, we see it. So
Oh, yeah.
it's right in front. I mean, it's equivalent to, okay, wait a second. I gotta do this here real quick. Oh, what's that? Yeah.
Texting, talking on the phone while I'm driving, not even using my hands. Oh, hi. Hi.
So it's that same concept, and we kind of all forgive it, because it's just kind of part of it because we get it.
Yeah. I don't know. It'll be interesting. It kind of goes back to what we talked about on our last podcast of, why IT and HR. And I think here again is a topic and a reason that we do IT and
Right.
HR, because somehow you have to find that balance. We know that technology and social media is not going anywhere, but we also know that human factor, that human interaction is so, so vital. And so how are we as a company, and how are we going to help the companies that we serve balance that out?
So obviously, you have children, I have children. Some of those kids are in school, but on a scale of 1 to 10, with your daughter, who's been largely in school but out of school, not really been present this past year and a half, what do you feel like her ability is to pay attention inside these Zoom and Google Classroom meetings as opposed to being in person? Do you think that she has fallen backwards or actually moved ahead in life as it relates to school and education and work?
Both.
Both.
Yeah, I think it's incredible for them to learn the things that they're learning, and yet that distraction factor that it's the same thing we're dealing with as adults.
Yeah.
The ability to pay attention, the ability to focus
Right.
is becoming more and more difficult for kids. And it's becoming more and more difficult for adults. I
Right.
mean, sometimes I have to read the same, like, I have to really concentrate to read a book anymore because
Yeah.
I'm used to those little 3-second, if that, snippets on Instagram or Pinterest or Facebook, just that little bit of information. And sometimes I'll find myself having to read a sentence 2, 3, 4 times before I can focus on it.
Right.
That's scary.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one there, and I'm struggling as well inside that world too. I read. I can't say a ton for fun by any means. I don't enjoy reading for fun. I enjoy reading for education and learning. But even when I do that, it's becoming difficult to concentrate on the more technical matters that I have to get involved with and trying to really figure out what this person is trying to say because my brain is telling me, hey, don't go, don't be doing this. And there's distractions that are everywhere. And, you hear a noise, you hear a dog bark, you get a link from somebody and you want to click on it. But at the end of the day, it's just like you lose that focus. I lose the focus all the time.
It's crazy. And our employees are dealing with the same thing. Our kids are dealing with the same thing. And how are we going to balance this incredible tool that we have called technology and yet not get dumber and dumber?
They should make a third sequel to Dumber and Dumber. I thought it was a pretty good movie.
I never saw the second one.
You never saw the
I
second
don't
one?
think I did.
Oh boy,
The first one was,
Leveloid.
yeah. I don't think I did.
Yeah, I don't know. So my goal this week is as we have our quarterly reviews coming up, I may just say, hey, listen, clients and customers and friends and foes and everybody, there's no more in-person, there's no more virtual meetings this time. It's going to be 100% in person. And just kind of see where we go with that and see if I can actually make that happen. Yeah.
I'll be busy.
Well,
You'll be all over the stage.
I will. I think a fair number. I think there's gonna be 75% that will say that they don't have time. It'll just be a test. Obviously, we'll meet with them and do our thing. But I think a lot of them will just say, I don't have time. I can't
Let's
do
do
it.
a Zoom meeting.
Yeah, let's do a Zoom meeting, and all right, we'll do it again. So
Well, hopefully we'll get some folks that we can sit down and talk with, and because I miss that face-to-face interaction. So
I think sales go up. I think that their business productivity level goes up. I think every indicator is stronger when you're meeting face to face with somebody, or if not inside the same room, than you do remotely. I'm not sure if there's math behind there, but I have a feeling that that would be the consensus. Maybe I'm wrong. It'd be the first time, at least.
yeah.
There you go.
All right.
There you go. Well, what's your thoughts, everybody? Leave in the comments below your thoughts process. Do you think Zoom is here to stay? Do you think face-to-face meetings are going to, come back? Do you think it's more of a hybrid? As I said at the beginning of this podcast, 90-30, whatever that means, 90-10.
90-30.
That's what I said at the beginning. Yeah. Remember that?
Yeah.
There you go. Anyways, let me know your comments. As always, thanks for joining. Next episode, I think, is going to be quite interesting, too. A
Will it be?
a little bit more fun and upbeat.
Oh,
Yeah, kind of get off topic a little bit. Probably areas we probably shouldn't be exploring, but we're going to explore it.
yikes. That makes me nervous.
Yeah, always. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining. Catch you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.